Hello everybody, it's Tangent again. I'm going to be doing a let's build video this time. I'm going to start terraforming an idea that I had, so I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. As you can see, I was messing around with the shaders mod a little bit, just getting things set up, just so, you know, I'm all ready and good to go. So what I do is I terraform with sand to get a nice even ground level. I like, because the sand is affected by the gravity, so it kind of smooths itself out as it falls. If there's any excess, you don't have any like spheres sticking out on the side of buildings or on mountainsides. You don't have to smooth it all out as much. It just kind of falls into place. So I'm clearing out a side of a mountain, setting it up for another idea that I had to come off of the Faeradin's Folly. So I'm just filling in the empty spaces with water, and then I will continue to expand on the layout of the island, or the cove. I had drawn out a couple ideas in my head, or on paper, and try to translate them through, and I think I came out with a very close image. It's kind of hard to tell how big it should be. There's never really enough room when trying to build buildings, especially when you're trying to scale them up. So I mean, I don't really think I have too much room to work with, but we'll see how that ends up, and I might do minor tweaks here and there, just depending. So as you can see, I'm just filling in the water area right now, and I kind of started to suffocate myself a little bit. I wanted to make this kind of like a Pirate's Bay kind of esque feeling, like a renegade, treasure hunting kind of cove. So I think I'm portraying mostly what I had in my head. I left kind of like a little bay area for incoming and outgoing ships. I'm gonna end up putting a dock right where that little cove is, and I had a couple ideas with how I was gonna do the side of these mountains and walls. I ended up not sticking with the stone. I ended up going with a sandstone kind of look. I'm not quite finished with it, and after this video there's still minor tweaks that I'm gonna do, but it is a very lush kind of very lush like atmosphere kind of weather. So it is sand, lots of water, lush trees, vines, very nutrient rich, full of resources, ready to be explored by the mass of pirates and adventurers. I'm digging out more of the entrance to the cove for incoming and outgoing ships, filling it up with some water. I don't think I made it large enough, but for the time being it works. Like I said, I'll have to make some changes to it. I tried to smooth out some of these buildings here, or some of these walls. They came out alright. I'm still not entirely happy with it. As you can see, I had to undo a lot of things for this section. And I wanted to add kind of like an intimidating natural structure at the top of this entry point. I was thinking more of like a skull and crossbones kind of thing, but then I Ended up just kind of free-forming it, and I think it turned out pretty well. Right now I'm content with the way it looks. I'll end up building it here in a minute or two, but I'm just finishing up the ground level here, flattening some of it out, checking for any things that I need to immediately fix, and I'm starting to add a spire here. I was thinking it would be more of like a citadel for the renegades and the pirates, so I kind of just free-formed it into like this giant spire. I think it turned out beautifully. It reaches above the clouds and really is just this massive pillar. I do end up changing the bottom layer to sandstone, so I can dig in and maybe add an underground layer. But now I'm starting to add a couple of islands, and I did update my render distance so you guys could see the spire and how big it is in the background compared to what I'm building now. It's all rendering at the moment, but I'm adding these little islands and sandbars just to increase the threat level of like incoming and outgoing ships. I'm gonna add like destroyed ships, like crashed, things like that, sunken ships. But right now I'm just adding a couple little minor details to the actual foundation of the island, and here's where I start to build my kind of skull and crossbones look. I'm going to thicken it and kind of make it flow better, but for the time being it'll do. Maybe in my next video you'll see me clearing it up, making it a little neater, things like that. But as you can see, I started with this X shape, wasn't really quite happy with it, so I went and kind of rounded the top off a little bit. Kind of tried to make this skull shape, but it turned out to be more of a diamond, and I actually accidentally threw my diamond in the water, so I went to go digging for it. But so I kind of filled in to make this weird shape, and then I had this cool idea of adding minerals and waterfalls and making it very lush. It looks awkward. It doesn't really have an actual shape to it. I added grass to, like I said, increase the idea of a lush oasis kind of feeling. And then I kind of went around and added grass to the tops of all of the outer walls, or the edging of the cove. I just basically replaced all the dirt that I had on top of the stone. And as you can see just how massive that spire is. I loved it the way it came out. And you'll see me starting to add some vines and other emeralds and mossy stones. Right here I'm adding a waterfall to come off the side of the mountain here. And I really wanted to give it like an overflowing, resource-rich kind of feeling that would attract all of the pirates and ocean-bound settlers and people looking for a new, fresh start. or people just trying to get away from the city life. So here I am adding some mossy stone, filling it in. I tried just this mossy stone and vine kind of feel, and then I had this idea of emeralds and like diamonds and gold and things like that. So I ended up changing the blocks to ore because it hasn't quite been mined yet. This is like a natural kind of mineral rich structure. And then I started to add some cracked stone and kind of give it that ruined kind of feeling. So hopefully I might come back and add some more cobblestone and cracked stone and stairs and make it a little more human-esque looking. I know that's not really what I was trying to go for, but the cracked stone and the stairs and the odd angles and shapes really make it look intimidating when trying to enter into the cove. And then I tried to add a little bit of depth by making some of the blocks jut out a little bit, adding some more vines. Thought about replacing some of the dirt with maybe sand or stone or more mossy stone and things like that. But the way it turned out, I'm very happy with for the time being. Like I said, all the minor details are going to come into play later on in the series when I start to nitpick about how things look. The basis of this video was to get everything laid out, get the foundations, the island structure there, so I can start to actually form and shape Faeradin's Folly. I did have a little bit of trouble with these waters. I didn't really want them to overflow underneath the entryway, the arch, so I kind of had natural minerals and mossy stone directing the water away. That way the boats don't get flooded with water when trying to enter into the cove. But I'm very happy with the way it turned out. It did start to rain. I did not have I am making this on a multiplayer server using Craft Bucket, so I didn't have the server properties set up to where the difficulty was on peaceful, so there are monsters that spawned and things like that. So you are going to see a couple creepers here and there. My next video I am going to change that to make it more appeasable to me, and that way no mistakes from a creeper or things like that happen. Now I'm starting to go back over the mountaintops with some more dirt because I wanted to make it more lush rather than just sand and stone. And shortly I will be replacing all of the stone with sandstone to give it that more oasis look rather than having sandstone, stone, dirt, grass, things like that. And I think the sand makes it look a lot more like a cove rather than like just a mountainside or the side of a giant island. The sandstone really gives it a nice finishing touch. And I was starting to think about how I was going to start structuring buildings on this this island, and shortly after I realized there wasn't a whole lot of room. I made it too small. but I wasn't going to start over. So I had the idea of turning the base of the citadel into sandstone, so I could go in there and not have to worry about it collapsing and losing its form. I could create like an underground kind of civilization, sort of. As you saw earlier, there was kind of like this underground ravine, and that's kind of what sprung the idea of these people might have underwater waterways and routes to get to where they need to be, to give it that more of a hidden treasure kind of feel. It's hidden in natural structures. That's where like their treasury would be, things like that. I might even expand and make the citadel kind of like a military base for all of the pirates or renegade soldiers, just depending on how I structure the buildings in the town. I started to fill this in, thinking, oh, this would be a cool way to get back out of the island, or like a hidden way into the island. I ended up filling the base up with water and covering the hole, because I thought the citadel should connect to that rather than there being like a hole or a ladder or something like that. So I ended up closing that off, and I started to replace the tops of this the outer edges of the cove with grass to give it that lush feeling. I didn't want to make the grass so overwhelming to make the sandstone look out of place. Right now I feel like it is, but once I'm done, I have a strong feeling that it'll all flow really nicely, and it'll have a very tropical, oasis, lush kind of feeling to it. So if you guys just hold on with me for a little bit, I will do my best. I noticed there's kind of this gap in the side of the structure here. I ended up closing it in and drowning an Enderman, and I started to add chiseled sandstone to make it look inhabited rather than all of this natural oasis, untouched by human kind of feeling. I tried to use World Edit to create these bridges. I didn't know the block ID for the birchwood planks, so I ended up doing it by hand. Now I made 3 bridges. They're all equal length, or not bridges, docks for the ships. I made them all equal lengths. They're 12 by 5 because there's going to be pretty large ships coming in and out of like warring pirate kind of like wars, but at the same time there will be more room for allied pirates or allied renegades to dock with them. I thought about having a nice structured like port, but then I had the idea that these are renegades. This is they're not really, you know, completely dedicated to this place. They're a come and go kind of ideal. There's not a whole lot of security. It's kind of every man for himself. If you mess with us, we'll mess with you 10 times worse, right back at you kind of feeling. So I made it feel like it's very intimidating when entering these docks, kind of to show the threat level. I ended up adding a couple support beams for one of the docks. I'm going to end up and do that to all 3 of the docks. I only did it for one in the video just for sake of time, and I didn't feel like using my method of adding support beams 30 times over. I could have copy and pasted it, but I'm not that good with World Edit. There's a lot of things about it I don't know. I'm slowly learning hands-on. I could be much more efficient in the ways of my building, but I do like to freeform it. It gives me more control over what's actually being built. So I added a stairway up to the upper levels of the cove, and gives it that civilized entryway kind of, and the stairs go up, and it gives you the whole lookout of the entire island. I think it's a beautiful touch. And I'm going to turn on my shaders mod and do a quick walk with you guys on how it looks.